Imagine a world where the invisible chains that bind us to fear and uncertainty can be broken with the simple force of a prayer. Psalm 90, often seen as just an ancient text, hides a transformative power that few dare to explore. In this video, we will uncover how this powerful prayer can be the key to freeing your soul from spiritual chains you didn't even know existed. While many seek complex and expensive solutions, the truth is that the answer may lie in ancient words, ready to bring immediate change. Get ready to challenge your beliefs and discover how faith can be the most effective and surprising tool for achieving true spiritual freedom. Are you ready for this journey of discovery? The 91st Psalm, one of the most revered passages in the Bible, resonates deeply with those seeking spiritual refuge and protection. This psalm is not just a prayer, but an invitation to dive into the depths of faith and find shelter under the wings of the Most High. Over the centuries, he has been a beacon of hope, guiding the faithful through times of uncertainty and fear. The beauty of his words offers comfort and security, promising that those who trust in him will always be protected from the storms of life. The story behind Psalm 91 is as rich as its promises. Attributed to Moses, the great leader and prophet, this psalm was supposedly written during the desert wandering, a period of challenges and trials. It is fascinating to imagine how these words echoed in the tents of the Israelites, offering them courage and strength to face the unknown. Today, it continues to be a pillar of faith, reminding us that even in the most difficult situations, divine protection is within our reach. The spiritual and cultural importance of Psalm 91 transcends barriers and generations. In different cultures and religious traditions, it is recited as a prayer of protection, a shield against negative forces and spiritual bonds. Curiosities from history reveal that many soldiers carried it with them in times of war, believing in its protective power. This practice continues to this day, with many believers turning to him in times of danger and uncertainty. And so, as we delve deeper into this psalm, we are invited to explore its promise of protection and liberation. But what makes Psalm 91 so powerful? It is the unshakable faith that he inspires, the certainty that by seeking refuge in the Most High, we find a safe sanctuary. And as we explore its verses, we discover the transformative power it offers to break the spiritual ties that bind us, setting the stage for the next chapter of this spiritual journey. The 91st Psalm, shrouded in mystery and reverence, is traditionally attributed to Moses, although some scholars also consider David as its possible author. This psalm was written during a period of challenges and trials, reflecting the difficulties faced by the people of Israel during their journey through the desert. It is fascinating to imagine Moses, the great leader, seeking divine inspiration as he guided his people through barren and dangerous lands. The words of the psalm, therefore, are a testimony to unshakable faith and the incessant search for spiritual protection. Curiosities from history remind us that, in times of adversity, faith can serve as a powerful shield against the storms of life. This historical connection not only brings us closer to the experiences of the ancients, but also offers us valuable lessons about resilience and hope. The time in which Psalm 91 was composed was marked by constant uncertainty and danger, with both physical and spiritual threats. The Israelites, under the leadership of Moses, faced not only hostility from neighboring peoples, but also the natural difficulties of the desert. In this context, prayer became an essential tool to seek divine protection and the necessary guidance to overcome daily challenges. The psalm, therefore, served as a constant reminder that despite difficulties, God's presence was a source of security and comfort. This historical aspect of the psalm teaches us that, even in modern times, we can find strength in words of faith and protection. The 91st Psalm has transcended time, remaining relevant across diverse cultures and religious traditions. His message of protection and trust in God has resonated not only among the Israelites, but also among Christians and other religious groups throughout the centuries. It is interesting to note how the psalm was adopted in different historical contexts, from wars to moments of peace, always as a symbol of hope and security. This universality highlights the psalm's ability to touch hearts and minds, regardless of time or circumstance. Spanning generations, he continues to inspire those who seek freedom from the spiritual bonds that bind us. As we explore the historical and authorial context of the 91st Psalm, we are led to reflect on the lasting power of sacred words. They not only connect us with the past, but also offer us insight into how to face the challenges of the present. The wisdom contained in this psalm prepares us for the next step in our spiritual journey, where we will explore its structure and the main themes that make it such a powerful prayer. So we move on, delving deeper into its promises of protection and liberation. The 91st Psalm is a masterpiece of spiritual confidence and security. Structured in a poetic way, it is divided into 4 main parts that take the reader through a journey of faith and protection. The first part is a declaration of confidence, where the psalmist states that he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will be under the shadow of the Almighty. This powerful opening sets the tone of divine assurance that permeates the entire psalm. Then, the second part describes the protection God offers, using vivid metaphors such as wings and refuge that evoke images of care and shelter. This structure not only organizes the text, but also guides the reader through a process of understanding and internalizing the protection message. The verses of Psalm 91 are like stepping stones that lead the reader to a greater understanding of God's protective presence. Each verse is carefully constructed to reinforce the idea that faith is a fortress against adversity. The third part of the psalm focuses on the promise of deliverance, where the psalmist assures that God will save his faithful from visible and invisible dangers. This section is particularly powerful as it offers concrete hope in the midst of chaos. The use of expressions such as 1,000 will fall at your side highlights the certainty that, despite threats, divine protection is infallible. This thematic progression is essential to understanding how the psalm connects to the daily lives of believers. The main themes of Psalm 91 revolve around trust, protection, and deliverance. Trust is the foundation upon which the entire psalm is built, encouraging the faithful to place their faith in God as their ultimate protector. Protection is illustrated through metaphors of shelter and security, offering comfort and peace to those who seek refuge. Finally, the theme of deliverance is a promise that God not only protects, but also rescues his children from the clutches of evil. These themes are interconnected to create a cohesive and powerful narrative that resonates deeply with those seeking spiritual liberation. The structure of the 91st Psalm is not only literary, but also spiritual, guiding the reader through an experience of renewed faith and trust. As we explore each part of the psalm, we are led to reflect on our own lives and how we can apply these teachings to break the spiritual ties that bind us. This reflection prepares us for the next step in our spiritual journey, where we will examine the idea of divine protection and how it manifests in our daily lives. So we continue to explore the depths of this psalm, discovering new ways to strengthen our faith and find inner peace. The notion of divine protection is a central theme in Psalm 91, offering a spiritual shelter for those who seek refuge in sacred words. This protection is not just a vague promise, but rather a powerful assurance that the Almighty is watching, ready to intervene in our lives. Confidence in this protection is comparable to an invisible shield, which protects us against the adversities and dangers that surround us. Biblical examples, such as Daniel's protection in the lion's den, or the Israelites' safe crossing of the Red Sea, illustrate how divine intervention can be miraculous and transformative. These stories are not just accounts of the past, but reminders that faith can move mountains and transform impossible situations. Divine protection, therefore, is an active force that we can invoke through prayer and constant meditation on the 91st Psalm. The spiritual protection promised in the Psalm is like a cloak that surrounds us, bringing peace and security amid the storms of life. This protection does not mean the absence of difficulties, but rather the certainty that we are not alone in our battles. It is the confidence that, even when we face seemingly insurmountable challenges, there is a greater force at our side, guiding and protecting our steps. This certainty can be experienced daily when we recite the Psalm, transforming it into a mantra of protection and strength. By doing this, we create a space of inner peace where worries and fears are dispelled by the calming presence of the Almighty. Thus, divine protection becomes a tangible reality, experienced in every moment of faith and devotion. For many, divine protection is an anchor in times of uncertainty, offering stability and hope when everything around them seems to be falling apart. This protection is accessible to everyone who seeks shelter in the Almighty, regardless of their situation or circumstance. The practice of praying Psalm 91 daily can strengthen our connection with this protection, making us more resilient in the face of adversity. It is a constant reminder that even in the midst of chaos, we can find peace and security in sacred words. This practice also encourages us to share this protection with others, creating a network of spiritual support that extends beyond ourselves. Thus, as we engage with the Psalm, we not only receive protection, but we also become channels of that grace for those around us. As we explore the divine protection promised in the 91st Psalm, we are invited to reflect on how this protection manifests itself in our daily lives. It is an invitation to live with confidence and hope, knowing that we are always under the guardianship of the Almighty. This protection prepares us to face the spiritual ties that bind us, offering us the strength and courage necessary to overcome them. As we advance on our spiritual journey, we continue to discover new ways to apply this protection in our lives, strengthening our faith and our connection with the divine. And so, we move forward, ready to explore the next stage of this journey of spiritual liberation. Spiritual bonds, invisible to the eye but felt deeply in the soul, are like chains that prevent us from moving forward. They can manifest themselves in many ways: fear, insecurity, resentment, or even patterns of behavior that imprison us. The 91st Psalm, with its promise of divine protection, offers a way to break these chains that bind us. By reciting His words, we are invited to surrender our concerns and limitations to a greater force, allowing divine light to illuminate the darkest corners of our lives. Curiosities from history show us that, over the centuries, many have found liberation by connecting with the essence of this psalm. It's as if each word were a key, unlocking doors that lead us to a fuller and freer existence. Identifying these bonds is the first step towards liberation. Often, we are so used to the weight we carry that we forget that it is possible to live without it. Ask yourself, are there repetitive patterns in my life that cause me pain? Are there feelings that prevent me from moving forward? Recognizing these issues is essential to begin the journey of liberation. The 91st Psalm serves as a trustworthy guide, offering not only words of comfort, but also the promise of a safe haven. By meditating on its verses, we can find clarity and courage to face and overcome these constraints. Thus, the daily practice of reciting the psalm can become a powerful tool for personal and spiritual transformation. The practice of breaking spiritual ties is not only an act of faith, but also one of self-knowledge and empowerment. By connecting with the essence of Psalm 91, we are encouraged to look within and identify what limits us. This process can be intensified through practices such as meditation, prayer, and inner silence. Take a moment in your day to remove yourself from the external chaos and immerse yourself in the words of the psalm. Imagine each verse as a wave of healing energy, washing away impurities and releasing what no longer serves. Curiosities from history reveal that many found peace and renewal when they dedicated themselves to this practice, transforming their lives in profound and lasting ways. It's not just about breaking ties, but also about building a new reality. By freeing ourselves from spiritual chains, we open space for new possibilities and experiences. Psalm 91 reminds us that we are under the protection of the Most High, and that, with this certainty, we can face any challenge that life presents to us. Think about what it would be like to live without the fears and insecurities that limit us. How would you act? What dreams would you pursue? By freeing ourselves, we become co-creators of our destiny, capable of manifesting a life aligned with our highest purpose. And so we move on, ready to explore the next verse and its promises of protection and strength. The first verse of the 91st Psalm invites us to dwell in the secret place of the Most High, a place of refuge and spiritual security. This concept of dwelling suggests a permanence, a constant state of being under divine protection. It is not just about seeking refuge in times of need, but about continually living in communion with God. It's like finding a spiritual home, where the soul rests and is renewed. Curiosities from history show us that many spiritual leaders over the centuries sought this state of constant habitation, finding strength and inspiration in it for their journeys. Thus, the invitation is clear: to make our heart a temple, where the divine presence dwells and guides us daily. Reflecting on the constant presence of God is an exercise in faith and surrender. Imagine living each day with the certainty that you are not alone, that there is a greater force taking care of every detail of your life. It's like having an invisible friend, always by your side, ready to offer comfort and guidance. For many, this presence is felt in the little things, in the sunrise, in the gentle breeze, in the silence of the night. Curiosities from history reveal that many saints and mystics experienced this divine closeness in profound and transformative ways. By cultivating this awareness, we open space for peace and confidence to flourish within us, dispelling fears and uncertainties. To apply the teaching of this verse, it is essential to create moments of pause and reflection throughout the day. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and visualize yourself dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. Feel the security and peace that this image brings. Practices like meditation and prayer can help strengthen this connection, making it a natural part of your routine. Curiosities from history show that great spiritual leaders dedicated time daily to these practices, finding renewal and clarity in them. By following this example, we can transform our lives, becoming more resilient and centered. Verse 1 of Psalm 91 is an invitation to live with purpose and faith, reminding us that true security comes from within. By dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, we find a solid foundation that sustains us in times of turmoil. This spiritual journey prepares us to explore the next verse, where we will discover more about the strength God is in our lives. Thus, we move forward, deepening our understanding and practice of the divine presence in our daily lives. In verse 2 of the 91st Psalm, we find a powerful statement of faith. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. This verse invites us to declare our trust in God as our protector and defender. The idea of God as a fortress conjures up images of an impenetrable castle, a solid structure that protects us from the storms of life. It is an invitation to find security not in material goods or human strength, but in the divine presence that never fails. Curiosities from history show that many over the centuries have attached themselves to this image, finding strength and courage in it to face adversity. When we think of God as our refuge, we are reminded that there is a safe place where we can take shelter, regardless of external circumstances. This security is not only physical, but also emotional and spiritual. It's the comfort of knowing that even when the world around us seems to be falling apart, there is a safe haven where we can find peace and renewal. For many, this trust manifests itself in moments of prayer and meditation, where concerns are surrendered to the divine. Imagine starting each day with this statement of confidence, allowing it to guide your actions and thoughts. Testimonies of faith and security are present in countless stories of people who experience divine protection in critical moments. Whether in situations of imminent danger or deep emotional challenges, the certainty that God is a fortress has been a pillar of strength. Reports of miracles and deliverances are common, reinforcing the idea that, by fully trusting in God, we are kept in ways we often cannot understand. This trust does not eliminate challenges, but it transforms the way we face them, offering a perspective of hope and resilience. As we explore this verse, we are called to reflect on how we can strengthen our own faith and trust in God. What practices can we incorporate into our lives to remind ourselves daily that He is our strength? Perhaps it is through constant prayer, reading the Scriptures, or fellowshipping with other believers. The important thing is to find ways to keep this connection alive and vibrant, allowing it to sustain us in all circumstances. And so, we continue our journey through Psalm 91, discovering new ways to apply its promises in our daily lives. Verse 3 of Psalm 91 tells us about freedom from the fowler's snare, a powerful metaphor that illustrates freedom from the spiritual and emotional traps that bind us. Imagine a bird trapped in an invisible net, unable to fly freely. These are the constraints that prevent us from reaching our full potential. This verse promises that, with divine help, we can be freed from these traps, whether they are fears, doubts, or negative influences. Curiosities from history show us that this image of the fowler was well understood in ancient times, symbolizing the pitfalls that life presents us with. The promise of deliverance is an invitation to trust, knowing that there is a greater force working to set us free. Identifying these traps in our lives is the first step towards liberation. Often, the constraints are subtle, manifesting as negative thoughts or destructive habits that infiltrate our daily routine. Ask yourself, what are the patterns that prevent me from moving forward? Where are the traps that hold me? By acknowledging these questions, we can begin to seek the deliverance promised in the 91st Psalm. This process of self-reflection is essential to breaking the invisible chains that limit us, allowing divine light to illuminate our path and guide us to freedom. The metaphor of the fowler also teaches us the importance of spiritual vigilance. Just as a bird needs to be aware of its surroundings, we must be aware of the influences that surround us. Prayer and daily meditation on Psalm 91 can help us maintain this vigilance, strengthening our connection with the divine and protecting us from the pitfalls of the world. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders use this psalm as a shield against negative influences, finding strength and resilience in it. By following this example, we can cultivate a life of freedom and inner peace. As we explore verse 3, we are called to reflect on our own journey of liberation. What pitfalls do you currently face? How can Psalm 91 help you overcome them? As we delve deeper into the words of this psalm, we find not only promises of protection, but also a path to spiritual freedom. And so, we move on, ready to explore the next verse and its promises of comfort and protection under the wings of the Most High. Verse 4 of the 91st Psalm offers us a powerful and comforting image. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. This metaphor of God's wings evokes the loving and safe protection that a bird offers its young, symbolizing care and shelter. It is an invitation to shelter under divine security, knowing that even in the most violent storms, there is a place of peace and protection. The wings represent not only physical protection, but also emotional and spiritual comfort, a sanctuary where the worries of the world cannot penetrate. Curiosities from history show that this image of protection is recurrent in several religious traditions, always associated with the idea of a divine love that cares and protects. Reflecting on this divine protection leads us to consider how we can seek this shelter in our everyday lives. Just as a bird instinctively takes refuge under its mother's wings, we are invited to seek God's presence in times of uncertainty. It can be through prayer, meditation, or simply a moment of silence in which we allow ourselves to feel the divine presence. Imagine starting or ending your day with a short prayer, asking to be enveloped by these protective wings. This simple practice can bring a sense of peace and security, reminding us that we are never alone. The experience of feeling protected under the wings of God is described by many as a feeling of warmth and comfort, like being wrapped in a blanket on a cold night. Testimonies from people who have gone through difficult times often mention this feeling of divine protection, as if an invisible hand were present, guiding and protecting. These stories are a powerful reminder that even when everything seems uncertain, there is a greater force watching over us. Curiosities from history show us that this trust in divine protection has been a pillar of strength for many over the centuries. As we delve deeper into the meaning of this verse, we are called to reflect on how we can cultivate this trust in our lives. What practices can we adopt to remind ourselves daily that we are under divine protection? The answer may lie in small gestures of faith, such as reciting the 91st Psalm in moments of doubt, or simply stopping to breathe and feel the presence of God. And so, we continue on our spiritual journey, ready to explore the next verse and its promises of protection and courage. In verses 5 and 6 of the 91st Psalm, we find a powerful promise. You shall not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that destroys at midday. Here, the psalmist invites us to live without fear, fully trusting in divine protection. The night terror and daytime arrows symbolize the fears and worries that haunt us, while the plague and death represent the visible and invisible dangers we face. This promise of total protection is a reminder that, under the guardianship of the Almighty, we can face any challenge with courage and confidence. Curiosities from history show that, over the centuries, many have found strength in these words, overcoming fears and adversities. Overcoming fear with faith is one of the central themes of these verses. Trust in divine protection allows us to face life's uncertainties with serenity and determination. Imagine waking up every day with the certainty that you are protected against any evil, visible or invisible. This confidence transforms the way we live, allowing us to act with courage and determination. To cultivate this faith, we can incorporate daily practices of prayer and meditation, reciting the 91st Psalm as a protective mantra. In doing so, we not only strengthen our connection with the divine, but we also find inner peace amidst the chaos of the world. The promise of protection from visible and invisible dangers is an invitation to give our worries to God. We are often consumed by fears we cannot control, such as illness, accidents, or loss. However, by trusting in divine protection, we are reminded that we are not alone in our struggles. This confidence frees us from the shackles of fear, allowing us to live fully and with purpose. Curiosities from history reveal that many saints and spiritual leaders lived without fear, fully trusting in God's protection. Their examples inspire us to cultivate this same confidence in our lives. As we explore verses 5 and 6, we are called to reflect on how fear impacts our lives and how we can overcome it with faith. What fears do you currently face? How can Psalm 91 help you overcome them? As we delve deeper into this promise of protection, we find not only security, but also the courage to face life's challenges. Verse 7 of Psalm 91 presents us with a powerful and encouraging image. 1,000 will fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but you will not be struck. This passage is a reminder of the divine protection that surrounds us, even when we are surrounded by adversity. The idea of thousands falling around us while we remain unharmed symbolizes the strength of faith in the midst of difficulties. It is a call to unshakable trust in the power of God, which guards and protects us in times of crisis. Curiosities from history reveal that many believers found comfort and courage in these words, facing challenges with the certainty that they were not alone. The interpretation of this verse leads us to reflect on spiritual resilience. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by problems and pressures, the ability to stand firm is a precious gift. This verse teaches us that even when everything around us seems to be falling apart, we can find stability in faith. Imagine facing a monumental challenge, knowing that an invisible force is at your side, protecting you from all harm. This trust not only strengthens us, but also inspires us to move forward, safe in the knowledge that we will be guided and protected every step of the way. The strength of faith is a central theme in this verse, highlighting its role as a shield against adversity. When we fully trust in divine protection, we are able to face any situation with courage and determination. This faith allows us to see beyond immediate difficulties, envisioning a future of hope and victory. Curiosities from history show that many spiritual leaders over the centuries have clung to this verse in times of crisis, finding in it the necessary strength to lead and inspire others. By cultivating this same faith, we can transform our lives and positively impact those around us. As we explore the meaning of verse 7, we are invited to consider how we can apply this confidence in our daily lives. What practices can we adopt to strengthen our faith and resilience? Perhaps it is through regular prayer, meditation on the 91st Psalm, or fellowship with other believers. The important thing is to find ways to nurture this spiritual connection, allowing it to sustain us in times of difficulty. In verse 8 of the 91st Psalm, we find the promise that, "With your eyes alone you will behold and see the reward of the wicked." This passage invites us to reflect on divine justice, a force that operates in mysterious ways and often beyond our immediate understanding. The idea of seeing the reward suggests that although we may not understand God's ways, there is a moral order in the universe that eventually reveals itself. It is a reminder that even when injustice seems to prevail, divine justice is always at work, bringing balance and truth. Curiosities from history show us that many ancient cultures believed in a system of cosmic justice, where each individual's actions were weighed and judged. Divine justice, as described in this verse, is not just an abstract concept, but a reality that we can observe in our daily lives. Think about the times when truth prevailed against all odds, or when good triumphed over evil in unexpected ways. These experiences remind us that although human justice may fail, divine justice never errs. For those who seek to live a righteous life, this verse offers comfort and hope, assuring them that their efforts are not in vain. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders and philosophers focused on this idea, seeking to understand how divine justice manifests itself in the world. The concept of divine justice also challenges us to reflect on our own actions and choices. Are we living in ways that contribute to harmony and good in the world? Or are we somehow contributing to injustice? This verse invites us to examine our lives and seek alignment with divine principles of justice and truth. In doing so, we not only position ourselves to see the reward of the wicked, but also to receive the blessings that come from living according to the divine will. Interesting facts from history show that those who dedicated themselves to this quest often found lasting peace and satisfaction. As we continue our journey through Psalm 91, we are called to trust in divine justice and to live in ways that reflect that trust. This verse prepares us to explore the promises of refuge and security that God offers to those who make Him their shelter. With that, we move forward, ready to delve into the next promises of protection and peace that the Psalm reveals to us. In verses 9 and 10 of the 91st Psalm, we find a powerful statement. Because you have made the Lord your refuge, the Most High your dwelling, no evil will befall you, neither will any plague come near your tent. Here, we are invited to make God our constant refuge, a safe home amidst the storms of life. This act of fully trusting in the Almighty as our shelter is not just a momentary choice, but an ongoing decision that shapes our existence. Curiosities from history show us that, over the centuries, many have found peace and security by making God their home, a practice that transcends cultures and traditions. Making God our refuge implies total surrender, a trust that goes beyond immediate circumstances. It's like building a house on solid rock, where storms can hit but won't tear it down. This trust offers us a sense of security and protection that cannot be shaken by external threats. Think about what it would be like to live each day with the knowledge that no matter the challenges, you are safe under divine protection. This perspective transforms the way we face difficulties, offering a peace that passes all understanding. The promise that no evil shall befall you is an invitation to live without fear, knowing that we are constantly under the guardianship of the Almighty. This protection does not mean that we will never face problems, but that we have a source of strength and resilience that sustains us through them. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders and believers witnessed this protection in times of danger, finding in it the courage to move forward. By making God our refuge, we position ourselves to experience this same security and peace in our daily lives. As we explore verses 9 and 10, we are called to reflect on how we can incorporate this trust into our daily lives. What practices can we adopt to remind ourselves daily that we are under the protection of the Almighty? Maybe it's through morning prayers, meditation, or reading Scripture. The important thing is to find ways to nurture this connection, allowing it to guide and protect us in all circumstances. And so, we continue on our spiritual journey, ready to explore the next verse and its promises of angelic protection. In verses 11 and 12 of Psalm 91, we are presented with the comforting image of angels sent by God to guard us in all our ways. For He will command His angels concerning you to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. This promise of angelic protection is one of the most beautiful expressions of divine care, suggesting that we are not alone in our journey. Angels, as heavenly messengers, symbolize the constant presence of God in our lives, ready to intervene and protect us from visible and invisible dangers. Curiosities from history show that many cultures believe in spiritual beings who guide and protect humans, reinforcing the idea that divine protection transcends religious and cultural barriers. The presence of angels around us is a powerful reminder that divine protection is attentive to every detail of our lives. They are described as supporters, ready to support us and prevent us from tripping over stones along the way. This image of support is especially comforting in times of uncertainty, when we may feel vulnerable and insecure. Imagine walking down a rocky path, knowing that invisible hands are ready to catch you if you stumble. This certainty offers us inner peace, allowing us to face life's challenges with confidence and serenity. Stories of angelic interventions abound across diverse religious and cultural traditions, often recounting experiences of protection and guidance at critical times. Whether through a hunch that prevents an accident or a stranger who appears at the right time to help, these stories reinforce the belief that angels are actively involved in our lives. Curiosities from history reveal that, over the centuries, many spiritual leaders and believers have witnessed the presence of these celestial beings, finding in them a source of comfort and hope. As we reflect on these stories, we are encouraged to be alert to signs of divine protection on our own path. As we explore verses 11 and 12, we are called to recognize and give thanks for the presence of angels in our lives. What practices can we adopt to connect more deeply with this angelic protection? Perhaps it is through specific prayers, asking for the intercession of angels, or moments of silence and meditation, where we can feel their presence. As we cultivate this connection, we not only strengthen our faith, but we also open ourselves to experiences of divine protection and guidance. Verse 13 of the 91st Psalm presents us with a picture of courage and dominion. You will tread on the lion and the snake. You will trample the young lion and the serpent under your feet. This verse symbolizes victory over threatening and dangerous forces, represented by the figures of the lion and the serpent. In ancient times, both the lion and the serpent were seen as powerful and fearsome creatures, symbolizing challenges and temptations that can cross our path. However, the psalm assures us that with divine protection, we can overcome these obstacles, stepping over them with confidence and authority. Curiosities from history show that this image of spiritual victory has been a source of inspiration for many, encouraging them to face and win their own internal and external battles. The metaphor of the lion and the serpent invites us to reflect on the challenges and temptations we encounter on our spiritual journey. The lion can represent external forces that threaten us, while the snake symbolizes internal temptations that divert us from our path. This verse reminds us that with faith and determination, we can overcome both. In the scriptures, stepping on these creatures is an act of domination, symbolizing the overcoming of fears and weaknesses that prevent us from moving forward. This message is a call to action, encouraging us to face our challenges with courage, knowing that we are not alone in our struggle. To apply the teaching of this verse to our lives, we can begin by identifying the lions and serpents we face daily. What are the external forces that threaten us? What internal temptations keep us from our spiritual goals? Recognizing these threats is the first step to overcoming them. Then we can strengthen our faith through prayer and meditation, using the 91st Psalm as a tool of protection and empowerment. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders use this verse as a mantra of strength, repeating it in moments of doubt and weakness to find courage and determination. As we delve deeper into the meaning of this verse, we are encouraged to live with confidence and authority, knowing that divine protection enables us to overcome any challenge. This confidence prepares us to explore the next verse, where we will discover more about the rewards of faithfulness and devotion to God. As we continue our spiritual journey, we find new ways to apply the promises of Psalm 91 in our lives, strengthening our faith and our connection with the divine. Verse 14 of Psalm 91 reveals an intimate and personal promise from God. Because he has clung to me in love, I will deliver him. I will keep him safe, because he knows my name. Here we are invited to reflect on the depth of love and devotion we can have for God. This attachment is not just a superficial connection, but a deep bond that transforms lives. As we cling to God with genuine love, we find not only protection, but also a relationship that transcends human understanding. Curiosities from history show that many believers, over the centuries, have experienced this type of divine love, which offered them strength and comfort in times of need. The expression, "because he knows my name," suggests an intimate and personal knowledge of God, which goes beyond simple belief. It is a call to deepen our relationship with the divine, seeking to understand and live in accordance with his teachings. This knowledge is not acquired overnight, but through an ongoing journey of faith, study, and spiritual practice. Imagine cultivating this relationship daily, through moments of prayer, meditation, and reading the scriptures. In doing so, we not only strengthen our connection with God, but we also position ourselves to receive his promises of deliverance and safety. Love and devotion to God bring rewards that go beyond physical protection. They offer inner peace and spiritual clarity. When we cling to God, we are able to face life's challenges with a renewed perspective, knowing we are not alone. The trust that comes from this relationship allows us to live with courage and purpose, even when we face adversity. Curiosities from history reveal that many saints and spiritual leaders found this strength in their love for God, inspiring others to follow the same path. As we reflect on this verse, we are encouraged to cultivate this love in our own lives. As we explore the meaning of verse 14, we are called to consider how we can deepen our love and devotion to God. What steps can we take to strengthen this relationship? Perhaps it is through a renewed commitment to daily prayer, or a deeper study of the Scriptures. The important thing is to find ways to nurture this connection, allowing it to guide and sustain us in all areas of our lives. In verse 15 of the 91st Psalm, we find a promise of divine rescue. "He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him, and I will glorify him." This passage assures us that when we cry out to God, he not only hears us, but also intervenes in our difficulties. The idea of being delivered suggests an act of rescue, a divine hand that pulls us out of the depths of despair. Curiosities from history show that many believers, over the centuries, have experienced this intervention in moments of crisis, finding strength and hope where there was once despair. This promise is not just for times of calamity, but a constant reminder that help is always within reach. Trusting God during difficulties can be challenging, but this verse encourages us to do so. Imagine facing a seemingly insurmountable situation, knowing that you are not alone, that there is a greater force working in your favor. This trust transforms the way we deal with our problems, offering a perspective of hope and resilience. To cultivate this trust, it is helpful to create daily moments of prayer and reflection, where we can give our concerns to God. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders found peace and clarity when practicing this surrender, witnessing the transformative power of faith in action. The promise that God will be with us in distress is an invitation to live with courage and determination. It doesn't mean we won't face challenges, but that we have a source of strength and support that sustains us through them. This certainty allows us to face the unknown with confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, we are not alone. By reciting the 91st Psalm, we can remember this promise, allowing it to guide and inspire us in times of doubt and uncertainty. Curiosities from history show that many found renewal and purpose when connecting with this truth. As we explore the meaning of verse 15, we are called to reflect on how we can apply this promise of deliverance to our lives. What practices can we adopt to strengthen our faith and trust in God? Perhaps it is through a renewed commitment to prayer or a deeper study of the Scriptures. The important thing is to find ways to nurture this connection, allowing it to sustain and guide us in all circumstances. The 16th verse of the 91st Psalm ends this powerful prayer with a promise of long life and salvation. I will satisfy you with length of days and show you my salvation. This verse not only offers the prospect of a prolonged life, but also the fulfillment and satisfaction that come from living in harmony with the divine will. The idea of length of days is more than a simple extension of time. It is a life rich in meaning and purpose. Curiosities from history show us that, in ancient times, a long life was seen as a direct blessing from God, a sign of His approval and continued protection. This promise still resonates today, reminding us that true satisfaction is not just found in the number of years, but in the quality of life we lead. Salvation, as promised in this verse, is a central concept in the Christian faith, representing not only deliverance from evil, but also the full realization of spiritual life. It is the culmination of a journey of faith, where divine protection manifests itself in its most complete form. For many, this promise of salvation is a call to reflect on their lives and their priorities. How can we live in ways that reflect this divine promise? Perhaps it is through acts of kindness, a life of prayer, or the constant search for justice and truth. This quest for salvation is a personal journey, but also one that connects us with a larger community of believers. The concept of long life and salvation challenges us to think beyond the immediate, to consider the lasting impact of our actions and choices. In a world where rush and instant gratification are the norm, this verse invites us to slow down and pursue a life of purpose and meaning. Curiosities from history reveal that many sages and spiritual leaders dedicated their lives to this search, finding lasting peace and satisfaction. As we reflect on this verse, we are called to consider how we can apply these principles to our own spiritual path. As we delve deeper into the meaning of this verse, we are encouraged to embrace the promise of a rich, fulfilling life, guided by divine protection and salvation. This promise prepares us to explore how we can incorporate Psalm 91 into our daily lives, using it as a tool for prayer and ongoing reflection. Incorporating Psalm 91 into your daily life is like planting a seed of protection and peace in your spiritual garden. For many, starting the day by reciting this psalm can be a transformative practice. Imagine waking up and, before you even get out of bed, taking a few minutes to read or meditate on your words. This not only sets a positive tone for the day, but also strengthens your connection with the divine, providing a sense of security that accompanies you every step of the way. Additionally, writing the psalm on a card and carrying it in your pocket or purse can serve as a constant reminder of God's protective presence. Practicing daily prayer is a powerful way to integrate Psalm 91 into your routine. Set a fixed time, perhaps before breakfast or before bed, to recite the psalm in a quiet environment. During these moments, visualize words as an invisible shield, protecting you and your loved ones from dangers seen and unseen. This practice not only deepens your faith, but also provides an opportunity to reflect on the blessings and challenges of the day, allowing you to surrender your concerns to the Almighty. Meditating on Psalm 91 is another effective way to incorporate it into your daily life. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and breathe deeply, allowing each verse to resonate in your mind and heart. This meditation can be accompanied by soft music or nature sounds, helping to create an environment of peace and introspection. Curiosities from history reveal that many have found clarity and spiritual renewal by dedicating time to this practice, experiencing a sense of balance and harmony. For those seeking a deeper connection, participating in study groups or prayer circles can enrich the experience of the 91st Psalm. Sharing interpretations and experiences with other believers not only strengthens the faith community, but also offers new perspectives on the psalm. This interaction can inspire new ways to apply its lessons in your daily life, creating a spiritual support network. And so, as we explore daily practices, we prepare to hear stories of transformation and impact that Psalm 91 has brought to the lives of many. Over the centuries, the 91st Psalm has proven to be a source of inspiration and transformation for many. Stories of lives changed by the power of this psalm abound, providing a glimpse of the power its words carry. Imagine a businessman on the brink of bankruptcy, finding renewal and direction by reciting this psalm daily, or a worried mother who discovers peace and protection for her family by invoking its promises. Curiosities from history show us that in times of war, soldiers carried the 91st Psalm with them, believing that it protected them from imminent danger. These testimonies are not just accounts of faith, but evidence of the profound impact that prayer can have on a person's life. In communities around the world, Psalm 91 continues to be a pillar of strength and hope. Churches and prayer groups often share stories of healing, protection, and miracles associated with reciting this psalm. A practical example is a support group that meets weekly to recite the psalm together, sharing experiences of protection and deliverance. These gatherings not only strengthen individual faith, but also create deep community bonds where spirituality is lived and celebrated collectively. Curiosities from history reveal that this practice of community prayer has ancient roots, showing that the strength of the collective amplifies the power of prayer. The impact of Psalm 91 on personal lives is also evident in stories of overcoming emotional and spiritual challenges. People who have faced depression, anxiety, or crises of faith often report a positive change after incorporating the recitation of this psalm into their daily routines. One example is that of a young woman who, in the midst of an existential crisis, found clarity and purpose by meditating on her words every morning. Curiosities from history reveal that many spiritual leaders recommend Psalm 91 as a powerful tool for strengthening the mind and spirit, promoting inner peace and resilience in the face of adversity. These testimonies of transformation are an invitation for each of us to explore the potential of Psalm 91 in our own lives. As we hear and read these stories, we are inspired to seek our own journey of liberation and spiritual protection. The next step is to discover how a guided prayer inspired by this psalm can further deepen this connection, offering moments of silence and reflection that lead us to a state of peace and inner renewal. Guided prayer inspired by Psalm 91 is a powerful practice that connects us deeply with divine protection. Imagine yourself in a peaceful space where the worries of the world melt away and you allow yourself to sink into the serenity of deep prayer. This practice begins with a moment of silence, an invitation to disconnect from external distractions and focus on what really matters. This is where true transformation begins, as you open your heart to the presence of the Almighty. Curiosities from history reveal that many found peace and clarity by surrendering to moments like this, where prayer becomes an intimate dialogue with the divine. An effective structure for this guided prayer might include reading each verse of the 91st Psalm, followed by a personal reflection. As you recite the sacred words, visualize yourself enveloped in a protective light, an invisible shield that protects you from all evil. Allow yourself to feel the safety and comfort that comes from this spiritual connection. After each verse, take a moment to reflect on its meaning and how it applies to your life. This practice not only strengthens your faith, but also offers a new perspective on the challenges you face daily. During prayer, moments of silence are essential to allow the words to resonate in your heart. It is in these moments that true introspection happens, where you can hear the still voice of divine guidance. Interesting facts from history show that spiritual leaders often used silence as a powerful tool to deepen their connection with God. By incorporating this practice into your guided prayer, you create a space of inner peace where the presence of the Almighty becomes tangible and real. This experience can be profoundly transformative, offering insights and clarity about your spiritual path. As you conclude the guided prayer, it is important to express gratitude for the protection and guidance you received. Gratitude is a powerful force that opens doors to new blessings and strengthens your connection with the divine. Consider keeping a prayer journal where you can record your reflections and insights after each practice. Not only does this help solidify your experience, but it also serves as a constant reminder of your spiritual journey. In the modern world, where the frenetic pace often takes us away from inner peace, meditation emerges as a safe haven, an essential practice for those seeking balance and clarity. Inspired by Psalm 91, meditation offers a sacred space where we can deeply connect with divine protection. Imagine yourself sitting in a peaceful place, breathing slowly as the words of the psalm echo softly in your mind. This practice not only calms the mind, but also strengthens the soul, allowing us to feel the protective embrace of the Almighty. Curiosities from history reveal that many sages and spiritualists used meditation as a powerful tool to achieve high states of consciousness and peace. To start meditating with Psalm 91, choose a time of day when you can dedicate yourself completely to the practice, without interruptions. It could be at dawn, when the world is still silent, or at night, when the day begins to say goodbye. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and start breathing deeply. As you inhale, imagine that you are absorbing the protection and peace of the psalm. As you exhale, visualize all your worries and tensions dissipating. This simple but powerful practice can transform your mental and emotional state, bringing a feeling of renewal and inner strength. The benefits of meditation are broad and well documented, both spiritually and physically. Studies show that regular meditation can reduce stress, improve concentration, and increase your overall sense of well-being. When combined with the recitation of the 91st Psalm, this practice takes on an even deeper spiritual dimension. Curiosities from history indicate that many ancient cultures already recognize the power of meditation to connect the individual to the divine, creating a bridge between the material and spiritual world. By integrating this practice into your routine, you not only improve your mental health, but also strengthen your connection with the sacred. As you delve deeper into the meditation inspired by Psalm 91, you will notice a subtle but powerful change in your life. The world around you may not change, but your perception and reaction to it will certainly transform. This ongoing practice of meditation and relaxation not only helps break spiritual bonds, but also sets the stage for exploring other forms of spiritual expression, such as music and worship, which we will cover next. Music, with its melodies and harmonies, has the power to touch the soul and elevate the spirit, becoming a powerful ally in worship and breaking spiritual ties. In the context of Psalm 91, music can be used as a means of deepening the connection with the divine, creating an environment conducive to meditation and prayer. Imagine listening to a gentle song inspired by the words of the psalm, allowing each note to resonate in your heart and bring peace and protection. Curiosities from history reveal that, since ancient times, music has been used in religious rituals to invoke the divine presence and strengthen the faith of the faithful. Incorporating music into moments of worship can transform the spiritual experience, making it richer and more engaging. Songs that reflect Psalm 91's themes of protection and refuge can help you internalize its powerful messages. Consider creating a playlist of uplifting songs that echo the promises of the psalm and allow yourself to be enveloped by the melodies as you meditate on its words. This practice not only deepens the connection with the divine, but also offers a space of tranquility and renewal amid the chaos of everyday life. Music also serves as a bridge between the individual and the collective, uniting voices and hearts in worship. Participating in singing groups or choirs that sing songs based on the 91st Psalm can be a transformative experience where collective energy amplifies the strength of prayer. Curiosities from history show that communities around the world have used music as a form of spiritual expression, creating deep bonds between their members and strengthening their collective faith. By singing in unison, we are reminded that we are not alone on our spiritual journey. As we explore the role of music and worship in breaking spiritual bonds, we are invited to integrate these practices into our daily routine. How about starting or ending the day with music that inspires and strengthens your faith? Or perhaps join a worship group that shares your passion for music and spirituality? By embracing these practices, we not only enrich our spiritual journey, but we also prepare ourselves to explore new ways of connecting and expressing faith. As spiritual ties take on subtle and insidious forms, often masked by frenetic rhythms and incessant demands, we are constantly bombarded by information, social expectations, and professional pressures that can divert us from our true spiritual path. These modern constraints can manifest as anxiety, chronic stress, or even a feeling of spiritual disconnection. Curiosities from history reveal that, although forms have changed, the fight against these invisible forces is a constant in the human journey. Identifying these constraints is the first step towards liberation, allowing us to seek solutions that resonate with our deepest essence. Identifying spiritual constraints in modern life requires careful and honest introspection. Ask yourself, what are the thought or behavior patterns that keep me from living fully? It could be the incessant search for external approval, the accumulation of material goods as a source of happiness, or even the fear of failure. These are invisible chains that bind us, preventing us from reaching our fullest spiritual potential. By recognizing these bonds, we can begin to work on releasing them, using spiritual practices that promote inner connection and mental peace. Overcoming these modern spiritual constraints requires a commitment to practices that nourish the soul and strengthen the spirit. Daily meditation, for example, can help calm the mind and bring clarity, allowing us to see beyond everyday distractions. Prayer, especially the use of the 91st Psalm, can serve as a spiritual shield, protecting us from the negative influences that surround us. Additionally, seeking connection with a faith community can offer support and encouragement, helping us stay focused on our spiritual growth. Curiosities from history show that unity in community has been a source of strength for many throughout time. As we explore modern spiritual constraints, we are challenged to find strategies that free us and allow us to live with authenticity and purpose. What practices can you incorporate into your routine to strengthen your spiritual connection? Maybe it's through moments of silence and reflection, or by dedicating time to activities that truly nourish your soul. By freeing ourselves from these bonds, we make space for a richer and more meaningful life, where peace and joy are constant companions. Interactivity and community are fundamental pillars in the spiritual journey, especially when it comes to exploring and applying teachings like those of the 91st Psalm. In an increasingly connected world, the ability to share experiences and insights with other believers enriches our understanding and spiritual practice. Imagine a group of people gathered together, each bringing their own perspectives and experiences, discussing how Psalm 91 helped them overcome personal challenges. This exchange of ideas not only strengthens individual faith, but also creates a sense of belonging and mutual support, essential for breaking spiritual ties. Participating in a faith community offers the opportunity to learn from others and experience divine protection in new and unexpected ways. Curiosities from history show that since ancient times, prayer groups and Bible study have been fundamental for spiritual growth. By engaging in community discussions and activities, you can discover new ways to apply Psalm 91 in your daily life. Think about how inspiring it would be to hear the testimony of someone who found strength and protection through this psalm, and how it could influence your own spiritual journey. Interactivity can also be encouraged through online platforms, where people from different parts of the world can connect and share their experiences with Psalm 91. Discussion forums, social media groups, and virtual meetups are excellent ways to engage with a global community of believers. These interactions not only broaden our understanding, but also remind us that we are not alone in our spiritual struggles. Fun facts from history reveal that this global connectivity is a modern blessing, allowing the power of the 91st Psalm to reach and transform lives in every corner of the world. As we reach the end of this journey through Psalm 91, we are called to reflect on everything we have learned and how we can apply these teachings to our daily lives. This psalm, with its promises of protection and deliverance, is more than a simple prayer. It is a spiritual guide that invites us to live with faith and trust in the Almighty. As we recite His words, we are reminded that we are not alone in our struggles, and that there is a greater power that sustains and guides us. Curiosities from history show us that over the centuries, many have found strength and renewal by connecting with the essence of this psalm, transforming their lives in profound and lasting ways. The practical application of Psalm 91 in our lives is a call to action. It is a call to incorporate His promises into our daily routine, whether through prayer, meditation, or simply reflecting on His words in quiet moments. By doing this, we create a space of inner peace and security, where worries and fears are dispelled by the calming presence of the Almighty. Think about what it would be like to live each day knowing that you are protected no matter what. This confidence offers us not only security, but also the courage to face life's challenges with determination and hope. Furthermore, Psalm 91 invites us into a deeper relationship with God through Jesus Christ. Accepting Jesus as Savior is opening yourself to a life of purpose and meaning, where divine protection is a constant reality. By surrendering our lives to Him, we are freed from the spiritual ties that bind us, finding peace and salvation. This is a powerful and transformative step that sets us on a path of spiritual growth and renewal. Curiosities from history reveal that many found new life and purpose by accepting Jesus, witnessing miracles and transformations that only faith can provide. Finally, we are encouraged to share this message of hope and liberation with others. The faith community is a source of support and encouragement, where we can grow together and strengthen each other. By sharing our experiences and testimonies, we not only enrich our own lives, but we also inspire those around us to seek the protection and peace that Psalm 91 offers.
If you're interested in having a Bible like the one we use in our studies, check out the link in the first pinned comment. If you enjoy our content and can support our channel, consider buying us a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. Additionally, if you can purchase a crucifix, we also have a link in the first pinned comment. We greatly appreciate your support. God bless, and see you in the next video.